All right, yeah. Question is, how can I become better leader? All right, that's a really good question. Okay, a leader, yes. Do I want to be a leader? Well, it just kind of like something you just have to understand what is actually the leader. Okay, yeah. A leader means like that a person who could lead the particular people to some sort of direction. Okay, yeah. A lead means giving the direction regarding about what I should supposed to be, what that person should supposed to be think, and what other people should supposed to do. Okay, yeah. There is a kind of like a thin line between boss and leader. Okay, yeah. From definition point of perspective, it's a kind of like a something the same. Okay, yeah. Like as a boss and as a leader is a kind of like a something that it looks same. Yeah, but boss is kind of like a something person who is not really understand the effort of the people are making. Okay, but leader would understand the effort of the people who are doing. Okay, yeah. It's a kind of like a something like that key. Leader is always be there, always into that particular situation when the team or every kind of like some people are been through. Leader is always be there, but boss is not. Boss is always be on the cabin and he just giving the direction that what they should supposed to do. Okay, yeah. So yeah, basically in my life I will gonna play some sort of role where like a lead, like I'm gonna kind of like some lead some sort of people to some sort of direction. Yeah, I know that. Okay, yeah. So how can I become more kind of like a something better leader? Yeah, what do I should supposed to be do, what kind of like a things that I should supposed to be do? uh okay, first of all, okay, uh what is exactly the like you understand, like do you understand now, leader? Okay, so now I'm try to understand that key, like what kind of like a some leader that you want to be. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's a kind of like a something, um okay, let's jump through that what I want. All right, yeah. I wanted to make a movie. Okay, yeah. And I was actually thinking about this movie since the beginning. Okay, since when I was teenager I was actually thinking about that. I was designing the entire movie. I wrote the entire script, by the way. Okay, till now. Okay, yeah. And because of this kind of like a something movie, I wanted to make movie in the Bollywood film, so that's why I wanted to be a filmmaker. All right. um um, when I will have that kind of like a something opportunity to make the film. Okay, so that means I am kind of like a something really director or kind of like a something the chairman of that particular team, so that I could execute that particular movie. All right, yeah. So how would I supposed to be do that? Okay, how can I be like basically in that particular situation I'm gonna kind of like a something pursuing a particular role as a leader, as a director, as a captain of the ship. All right, yeah. So how do I supposed to do that? All right. First of all is that ki yes, I do have kind of like a little bit information regarding about filmmaking and how the film is actually work and something like that. All right, yeah. But I don't really have enough information regarding about how the things is actually happen on the set. Okay, yeah. Because the knowing about filmmaking and actually happen in the filmmaking is a kind of like a only two different thing. Example is this thing, you know everything about the Lamborghini, how it work, how it kind of like some things happen, how the engine work and something like that. Okay, yeah, but you don't really knew it, you don't really drive the Lamborghini. And when you drive the Lamborghini you could understand how the Lamborghini works. Okay, yeah. It's a kind of like a only two different thing. Okay, yeah, you know about particular thing, but when you try to experience that particular thing it's kind of like a two different thing. Okay, yeah. I know about how do I supposed to make the film, but I didn't really experience about how the film work. Okay, yeah. So I just have to kind of like get more information about how the film work. That means I just have to experience the entire thing. All right, yeah. So how do I supposed to do that? How do I supposed to kind of like get the experience regarding about filmmaking? Obviously I have to work under some sort of director as assistant director or something like that, and then I kind of like something figure it out that how do I supposed to do those things, how the camera work, how the acting work, how the light and everything, the sound, how it kind of like something record, how do I supposed to direct that particular thing. I need a particular experience into that particular stuff. Okay, yeah. So how do I supposed to do that? As I mentioned, I have to work. All right, yeah. So basically, before I wanted to execute this kind of like a something project, this kind of like a something movie, I just have to work on. I just have to work on that, how the film work. Okay, uh, so basically, I just have to participate as assistant director. Okay, yeah, and I wanted to work there. I just wanted to understand. Okay, at least a year of experience is hard enough. Okay, year of experience. Do you think that year of experience is kind of like a something good that you could make a movie? Well, probably. Okay, like I wanted to pursue more than a year, yeah, but probably this thing might be in that particular situation. I don't really have that kind of like a something time to do this thing. Okay, yeah. So I'm not gonna sure, but I will definitely have kind of like a something year of experience regarding about everything, regarding about every field, what is exactly happened. Okay, yeah. And then I gonna make the movie, the movie, like basically a trial movie. Okay, yeah. Like I wanted to make a trial movie. Okay, a trial movie. Yeah. Means like that ki, there is a two movie that I wanted to make. Okay, the first movie is a kind of like a something, the dream project that I wanted to be. Okay, yeah. For that dream project, I need to be a kind of like a something captain of the ship. For that captain of the ship, that does really required me to experience about how do I supposed to run the ship and everything about this. I just want to know about that. So I will gonna make a trial movie. Okay, in the trial movie, I'm gonna make a lot of mistake. I'm gonna make huge mistake. I just have to understand that particular thing. But for the trial movie too, I need the experience about the movie making process. So before that, I just have to gain the experience, about year of experience, about as assistant director, about how the film is actually work, how things is actually happen, how the everything. Okay, yeah. Then I will have little bit of experience. Then I will use that experience to make that trial movie. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I do wrote the trial movie too. Okay, it's a kind of like a some original film. The name of the movie name Gharshi Ghoshtam. Okay, it's a Marathi film. Okay, yeah. It's a very emotional based movie, and I'm gonna execute that movie too as a trial based movie. Okay, yeah. And like figure it out that what kind of like a something stuff that do I need, and what kind of like a stuff that do I supposed to understand. Okay, yeah. And after the experience of that particular movie, I'm gonna use that experience to make my dream project. Okay, and that name of the dream project is a binary code. All right, yeah. So in that particular project, in that particular position, I'm gonna be kind of like a something pursue as a low as a role of a leader. And yeah. Okay, yes. So this is what kind of like a some of the stuff that I'm gonna be kind of like a something little bit better at leadership. Okay, yeah. But do you really think that you could be a kind of like a somebody good leader? Like, let me example to you. Okay, like most of the assistant director, they are actually working for almost like a decade to be as assistant, decade to be as a kind of like a something work under that things and something like that. Okay, and then after that they will kind of like a try as a kind of like a somebody director. Okay, yes. Like example is the director of RRR. I'm not really sure the name of the director. Okay, yeah, but most of the director have kind of like a decade of experience regarding about the filmmaking process, and then and after that they are kind of like a pursue as a director, not just directly went to the like direct director. No. So how do you supposed to say this thing? Like basically a year of experience, then almost like a trial movie. Is it kind of like a something helpful to you to be a become leader, or become something like that? All right, yeah. What is actually your strategy? Like you are actually telling about like a kind of like some upper layer of things that you would do, but but when you work at kind of like a something at the bottom, you realize that are a lot of things. So how do you supposed to tackle that particular situation? How you gonna do that thing? Okay, that's a really good question. um, um at this moment, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, at this moment I don't know why, because I don't really have little bit experience. I don't really have any kind of like some little experience about the movie making field. Okay, yeah. But there are some certain thing that I know about myself. Okay, and there is some certain thing that I think that I could do that. What is exactly this thing? All right. I am kind of like a something kind of like a consistent regarding about what do I supposed to do. Okay, yeah. Like basically is this thing, I do have that quality that key whatever the work that I'm doing, I just have to be consistent. Like I shouldn't supposed to put all my energy into the thing. No, I just have to be a consistent. Okay, and I just have to be kind of like a somebody continuous growth. Okay. Another thing is that key in the movie making process already, yeah, I have to make sure that I have to be kind of like a something spend more and more time on pre-production. Okay, what's a pre-production? Okay, pre-production is a kind of like a something that ki you are doing the kind of like a things that how do you supposed to execute the movie, like kind of like a something understanding about how we gonna how we gonna kind of like a something make the film. Okay, yeah, kind of like understand like making the script, shot design, then shot selection, then location recce, and then kind of like a how do we supposed to get the camera lighting and everything. Okay, and just everything. Okay, like basically in the pre-production I just have to understand the every point of perspective that how do we supposed to make the film. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing when we are kind of like a somebody prepared, when I am kind of like a realize that ki, yeah, I'm kind of like a fully prepared about to make the movie, so then I will gonna execute the movie. Okay, yeah. Basically is this thing that ki before before I start the film I just have to understand every point of perspective, like a visual design point of perspective, story design point of perspective. Like basically I just have to imagine that how the movie kind of like a look like when I shoot the movie. Okay, yeah. um yeah, everything. Okay, and then while I was shooting the movie I just have to follow the instruction, or I just have to follow the things that I prepared for in the pre-production. Okay, yeah. And then I will kind of like simply execute the way that I want it to be. Okay, yeah. So this is the way that I'm gonna kind of like do it. All right, yeah. Pre-production is a kind of like a something very 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 essential part of it. Okay, yeah. In that uh, pre-production, what kind of like a step that you would kind of like a somebody continue, you would gonna kind of like a do. Okay, first of all is wrote the script. Okay, write the script. Okay, then a short division. Then like in the short division means like that ki what kind of like a something the shot, what kind of like a shot is kind of like a something what kind of like a something scene should I supposed to shoot in that particular dialogue. Okay, yeah, like what kind of like a something angle, low, top, high, medium, close, something like that. Okay, yeah. Then what kind of like a something transitions, what kind of like a something transition will it be happen. Another thing is that ki while I was shooting, lighting is a really essential role because each lighting kind of like a tell us a different story about the seriousness, emotion, and something like that. So I just have to be prepared of that. There are a couple of softwares are available too, like that you could understand shot design. In that particular shot design there is a character, there is a camera, there is a light, there is a kind of like a setup that how do you supposed to do that. It's a top down view. Okay, I just have to figure it out how do it's kind of like a things that, and how the kind of like a something the final lighting setup would be look like. Okay, yeah. In the short design, and in that particular short design it include everything like a lens choices, camera choices, light color, light temperature, where the light should supposed to be set, and everything. All right, yeah. Then audio. Okay, audio means like that ki not only just audio but as also the background score. Okay, yeah. I want to be kind of like a something all the background score has to be done before I make the movie, before I, because of that ki like a background score is actually telling a kind of like a something story, telling a kind of like a something emotions, and that emotions are kind of like a implement into the dialogue or not. I just have to figure it out, I just have to find out. Okay, yeah. For that particular process I need a kind of like a something a background score. Okay, so make sure that all the background score has to be done before I make the movie, before like in the production, in the pre-production I just have to be know that ki this is the stuff that I'm gonna do. Okay, yeah. So like basically in the pre-production I have to know about the script, I just have to know about shot design, I just have to know about the lens choices, camera, audio, as also I just have to understand about the background score, also the casting. okay, like a which person should supposed to be cast, what kind of like a stuff, what is, as also is this thing, I don't want to spend that much amount of money on the kind of like a big star and nothing really at all. Like my story doesn't really require me to be use kind of like some big star because it won't really need it. Okay, yeah, like all the people that I will gonna cast is a kind of like a simply very normal people, very kind of like a simply very excellent actor, and that's it. Okay, yeah, I don't want to cast any kind of like a simply higher authority of actor and actress, no, nothing really at all. Okay, then after that usually in that movie there are particular scenes, mostly action scenes are kind of like something very difficult to execute. So in that particular process I just need to be pre-render visualize. Okay, what's a pre-render visualize? A pre-render visualize means like that a storyboard. In that particular storyboard you are not only visualize the movie but as also it's a kind of like a some particular render. It's a kind of like a some comic book with a it's not, it's a kind of like a some cartoon with a comic book. Okay, yeah. So basically just kind of like a pre-render visualize in the action. In that particular thing I just have to visualize where would be camera would be happen and what kind of like a stuff happen and this and that. Okay, yeah, pre-render visualization. So I just have to make sure that all the things has to be done in the pre-render visualization so that I could understand, I could imagine things. All right, yeah. As also I just have to think about editing point of perspective. Okay, like what kind of like assembly edit should I supposed to do when the scene really require me to long take, I'm gonna take a long take. In that particular long take the take shouldn't supposed to be kind of like a simply boring and things like that. No, I have to make sure that everything is actually happened so smoothly that um, it, it should supposed to be kind of like things happen really great. Okay, yeah. Like when I prepared about everything in the pre-production, then I switched to the production. Okay, so let me tell you one thing. The things that I imagine in the pre-production, it kind of like never really happened in the production because there is a lot of hassle between the things and that. Okay, yeah. In the production, I have to kind of like figure it out that key, like it's a kind of like a practical things. Okay, like things that I draw in the drawing book. Now I have to be kind of like a make sure that this is actually happening in the real life. So it have to be a lot of prepare about that stuff. Okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, definitely me and my team will be gonna work to make the production, but make sure that the things that I imagine the pre-production, I have to make sure that this is exactly gonna happen in the production too. Okay, yeah, and then post production. Okay, yeah, in the post production, like basically just like that key editing, sound designing, this is gonna happen in the post production. What I'm trying to tell you is this thing, I will put the more and more emphasis in the pre-production, that what kind of like a stuff do I do. Oh yeah, that makes the movies kind of like a something really incredible. Like if I kind of like a something prepare the exam so much, then I know that what gonna happen and what kind of like a something question will be arrive in the exam, so that I would be prepared. Okay, this is the stuff that I wanna do, is that while I was gonna make a movie, I will gonna make sure that I just have to be kind of like something work on pre-production. Okay, yeah. So if I am kind of like such a person who is kind of like doing a lot of preparation regarding about things that what should I supposed to do, then probably is this thing that I'm gonna execute such a movie that it might be kind of like something really good. Okay, yeah. As also another thing is that this movie is, I'm gonna not, I am not I will not gonna make this movie is kind of like something for the profit point of perspective. No, definitely not. I didn't really expect anything from the money. I didn't really want to earn any kind of like something money from it. Okay, yeah, yeah. If I earn money, if that movie work really well, that is okay. Yeah, but if it don't, it's a kind of like a something my dream project. It's a kind of like a something stuff that I wanted to make for myself. Okay, yeah. Like I'm not actually making the movie, making this movie for the people. No, I make this movie for myself. Okay, yeah. So basically it's this kind of like a some perspective in my mind. So I'm not kind of like a some obligated regarding about things regarding about that what kind of like a what like a do I kind of like a put any kind of like a something like dance or music or into this thing to elevate the movie. No, I don't want to be. I am literally focused on the story and make sure that the story should supposed to be execute exactly as I want it to be, because I'm not kind of like a only making the movie for the people. No, I'm kind of like a making the movie for myself. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing that ki, like I thinking about lot of stuff regarding about all the things and stuff like that. Okay, so probably is this thing that ki I know that ki when the situation came, I'm gonna kind of like simply execute that movie really well, and I'm gonna be pursuing as a leader really well too. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so this is kind of like a stuff that I'm gonna do to be kind of like a something better leader at in that particular situation, as a director, as a kind of like a somebody person that who could run the ship, or as a captain of the ship. All right, yeah. But like you are actually talking about as a kind of like something moving point of perspective, as a kind of like a something as a director of the movie. But what do you kind of like consider that ki when you are kind of like somebody pursuing such a role that really required a leader in the life, means like that he you just have to do those thing or do that thing. So what kind of like somebody call some what kind of like a somebody qualities do you really require to be a kind of like a somebody a good leader, or kind of like something that what makes you do that thing, or what kind of like a somebody person that you are, or what kind of like a stuff do you really require to be that particular person? Okay. Yeah. So leader, yeah. So what kind of like a stuff do I really required? Okay, yeah. Okay, so what kind of like a stuff do I really required? Okay, yeah. First of all, there are a couple of pointers are here. Okay, yeah. These pointer are actually kind of like somethingly actually generated by the chat GPT. All right, yeah. So let's talk about that. Self awareness. Okay, yeah. What's the self awareness? A self awareness means like that. Ki, you have to be aware about the things what gonna happen. Okay, yeah. As a leader, as a leader of some certain thing, that means that person should supposed to be kind of like a experience about some certain thing. Okay, yeah. And when you have experience, that experience means like that are aware of some certain thing. Okay, yeah. You never be leader about things that you don't really know how it work. Okay, yeah. If you wanted to be leader, that means you just have to know everything about that particular stuff. Okay, yeah. You just have to aware about that particular stuff. Okay, yeah. If I want to be a good leader, definitely I wanted to be aware of a lot of things. I have to aware about things and that and that and that. Okay, sometime as a kind of like a something as a leader gonna take some certain decision that kind of like a things that he didn't really know, things that kind of like a something that he don't know what is gonna happen. But sometimes the guts, what exactly guts are telling you to do those things is also really matter. Example is this thing, like when you are running the ship, you are a captain of the ship, and there is a storm in front of you. Okay, what kind of like a stuff that you should supposed to do? What kind of like a stuff that would you do? Would you run away? Would you kind of like a something head on this thing, or what kind of like a stuff there? Because there is a kind of like a something like the crew in front of you, and they will gonna die, or they will gonna kind of like a things happen if they face the storm. So what will gonna they should supposed to be do? So as a captain, you have to you not only understand about the kind of like a something the things that you wanted to admire, but you also understand the safety of your crew and things like that. So in that particular moment, divert the ship at somewhere so that your crew will gonna kind of like a something safe. Okay, yeah. And then after that, after the storm is kind of like a something stop or something pause, then you kind of like a pursue your journey. So this is what kind of like a something stuff that it is matter. Okay, so being aware of things is really important as a something really good leader. All right, yeah. Next point, communicate effectively. All right, yeah. Being kind of like a something leader, being kind of like a something better at leader, you not only just a kind of like a something idea that you have, but you have to also understand that key the whatever the idea that you have, or whatever the kind of like a things that you have, you just have to execute through communication way. Important thing is that being a leader means like that you are not leader of robots, you are leading of people. Okay, and people are actually understand by the things that key communicate. Okay, they would kind of like a somebody knows that ki how the things is actually happened. People are actually bit more inspired, or bit more kind of like a something energized through the communication. Okay, so as a kind of like a somebody good leader, you just have to be a communicate, you just have to not only just communicate, you just have to communicate very effectively. Okay, example is this thing, have you ever kind of like a something thought that the person who lead the army, or person who kind of like a something as a kind of like a supervisor officer in the army, they would kind of like a lead a particular people with such a way that they would kind of like a inspired, not only inspired, they would kind of like a something just kind of like a something that key, they would kind of like a something die for that particular company, die for that particular country for doing this thing. Okay, they mention as a war cry. Okay, yeah. And this is what kind of like a something really really essential as a kind of like a something leader. Okay, yeah. you not only have to be communicate, but as also the whatever the communication that you do, it has to be effectively, it has to be kind of something people under you has to be kind of like a believe in you, that believing your idea, believing your thoughts, and they would kind of like a simply pursue, or they would kind of like a simply do everything to make your idea in the real, or something like that, whatever it is. Okay, important thing is that you have to be kind of like a something not only good connection with your people, but as also the communicate very wisely, okay, taking decision very wisely too. Okay, yeah. Now, inspired and motivate. Okay, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, yeah. Is this thing that key, in your communication, you not only you not only do the just a communication, but you just have to communicate, you just have to motivate, you just have to inspire the people too. Like when you are leading things, yeah. But like, do I have that, like am I really good with the communication? I am really good with the communication. Okay, yeah. But do I inspire, do I motivate the people? Let me tell you one thing, till now I haven't really motivated any kind of people. Okay, yeah. Why? Because it's this thing, that motivation, that kind of like something inspired is actually happen when you have kind of like some sort of responsibility. Okay, yeah. Till now I haven't really hold any kind of like some responsibility. So probably is this thing that key, I don't really have any chances to be a kind of like a something inspired or motivate. But one thing for sure is that ki whenever I will have that kind of like something responsibility, I will gonna motivate people, I will gonna motivate the people, I will gonna inspire the people a lot. So yeah, I think that ki I would have that kind of like a something quality, or I would kind of like a something, I will gonna have that particular quality. Yes, 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 yeah. Empower your team. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, what's the empower? No, empower means like that kind of like a somebody encourage the growth and things like that. Key, like basically just motivate kind of like a somebody word. Okay, build the emotional intelligence. What's the emotional intelligence? Okay, as the emotional intelligence means like that, practice empathy, manage emotions, foster inclusivity. Okay, what exactly is this thing? Okay, emotional intelligence means like that key, sometimes you're gonna take a decision with a kind of like something emotional way. Okay, yeah. Like taking decision very wisely, but kind of like something as emotional way too. Okay, yeah. What exactly is this thing? Okay, so when you are kind of like somebody leading a particular people, okay, yeah, to achieve some sort of thing, you sometimes now you take kind of like a something inspired people to emotional. Okay, yeah, means like that key, what kind of like a effort that we did till now, and what kind of like a effort that we're gonna do in the future. So for that particular thing, we just have to be prepared, we just have to do those things, we just have to kind of like a somebody put the 100% to this thing to achieve that particular stuff. Okay, yeah. Sometimes we are kind of like a somebody as a leader has to be kind of like a motivate the people through emotional point of perspective. That is kind of like something I think that key, build the emotional intelligence probably. Cultivate problem solving things. Yeah, that is a really important thing. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to be a kind of like something pre-production while I was shooting the film. Okay, yeah. What's the pre-production? A pre-production means like that, a problem solving. Okay, like what will gonna problem that I will gonna face in the while shooting the film. I have to figure it out, I have to figure it out, the every problem that we're gonna face. Okay, yeah, that is called kind of like a something, yeah, problem solving skills. Okay, that is really essential to build anything. Okay, yeah. And not only sometimes now, sometimes it's really essential that key, at some certain point things will gonna kind of like something fucked up. Okay, at that time you just have to take really wise decisions regarding about what should you supposed to do and how you're supposed to execute your target. Okay, it's really essential to focus on things that what you want, and not to be let down, not to be kind of like a something just disappointment, or not to be kind of like a something de-inspired or something like that. You always make sure that ki whatever the stuff that you were gonna do is kind of like a something that ki, solve the problem as soon as possible as you can, and kind of like a somebody go through this thing. Okay, in that particular process, might be you're gonna lose some sort of money, some sort of kind of like a something that ki, people, or might be, but I don't know. What I'm trying to tell you is this thing that ki problem solving thing is also really essential. All right, yeah. Stay adaptable. What's the adaptable? Adaptable means like that ki sometimes some situation is kind of like something some so crazy that I don't know what will gonna happen. Okay, I don't know what will gonna things happen. Okay, sometimes I just have to be open about the all the consequences will be happen is something like that I don't really imagine. Okay, yeah. Like can you can like basically sometimes you kind of like something understand na ki the sometimes things is actually happen that we are not really expected. Okay, that is called kind of like a something that key unexpected thing. So are you kind of like something adapted about that unexpected things? Okay, yeah. You have to be aware of that ki this will gonna happen, so you just have to adapt that thing ki like things will happen unexpectedly, so I just have to accept this thing and just go forward this thing. Okay, being the strong relationship, okay, relationship between the, as a leader and as a people under you, it's really essential. Okay, why do you say people under you, that like like do you actually imagine as a kind of like somebody you are kind of like consider that the people under you means like that ki, like a less than you? No, 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 not okay. It's I'm not kind of like a somebody as a discriminant point of perspective. No, nothing really at all. It's a kind of like a somebody that I just wanted to okay. It's a kind of like a audio formation, na. So might be you don't really understand the things that I want to say. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say as a leader, as a people. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry about this kind of like some people under you. No, I don't want to be say this thing as a people under me, things like that. Okay, yeah, but I just wanted to mention that it's a kind of like somebody the somebody that key as a build connection between you and your people is really essential. Okay, and strong relation is really important thing. Okay, yeah. So yeah, build the trust and build kind of like a something relation between the people is really essential. And yeah, I will gonna build that trust. I will gonna kind of like a have that thing. Okay, yeah. Reflect and adjust, like understand your things and kind of like a figure it out what should you supposed to do. Okay, yeah. So these are the way that you should supposed to be kind of like a somebody a better leader. All right, yeah. Now these are kind of like a some certain pointers are here. Okay, yeah. So what are the pointers that you have that you could kind of like a somebody become as a good leader, or like a what is the things that you have and what is the things that you haven't? Okay, yeah. Like are you kind of like a something person who is self aware of that? Yeah, I know, like a this kind of like a somebody quality that I have, that kind of like a somebody that key self aware means like that expert in some sort of thing. Do I have that? Yes, I have that. All right, yeah. Now communicate effectively. Do you communicate with the people? I do communicate with the people. Okay, yeah. Do you inspire or motivate the people? I haven't really done that, but maybe I will. Okay, yeah, maybe I will, because I have this kind of like a simply quality, and maybe I will gonna inspire things, or I will gonna motivate the thing. All right, yeah. Now empower your team means like that. Do you encourage your team? Do you can you do that? Yeah, empowered or encouraged is kind of like a something equivalent to a motivated or inspired. Okay, yeah. So can you do that? Can you kind of like a figure it out? Well, I haven't really experienced this kind of like a stuff, but make sure that I will gonna do that. Okay, yeah. Do you build the emotional intelligence? Okay, yeah. Like a do you kind of like a basically practice empathy, manage people or something like that? Do you do that? Have you ever done that? Well, I haven't really done that, but I'm make sure that ki I'm gonna do those things I do. Yeah. Cultivate problem solvings. Yeah. Like can you solve the problem? Yes. So this is the kind of like a stuff that I could do. Like this is the stuff that I would kind of like simply solve the problem very effectively. Stay adaptable. Like do you are you kind of like simply adaptable regarding about things? Yes, I am. Like a build a strong build a relationship. Like are you kind of like a person who could build a strong relationship with the people? Yes, I know I could do that. Reflect and adjust means like that key, like same with adaptability. Okay, yeah. So basically this thing, some of the point, some of the qualities that you have kind of like somebody represent as a good leader, but some of the qualities that I haven't really experienced this thing. So probably is it in, does it make kind of like somebody good leader? Well, probably is this thing. Leadership is a kind of like a something skills. Okay, yeah, you could develop by the time to time. Okay, yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing might be at this moment I don't really have that might be I don't really have that kind of like somebody quality as a kind of somebody as a leader, but sure, in some certain time or in after some sort of time I will gonna handle some sort of responsibility, and I will gonna come something have that particular talent, have that particular things. And I know that ki, like basically being a leadership, there is no kind of like a skills, there is no kind of like a some talent, there is no kind of like some school who could tell you that how do you supposed to be a leader. But it's a kind of like some experience that you gonna face, and what kind of like something what kind of like power that you gonna hold, and how do you gonna use that power to be make something really good for the people, for the community. Okay, I understand my gravity regarding about my power. I also understand how it kind of like some affect on the people too. So yes, I know that ki I'm kind of like somebody good leader. Okay, and I will be kind of like somebody become better leader. Okay, I'm bitterly confident regarding about that stuff. All right, yeah. So this is it. I should supposed to be in here, and thank you.